Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's video on first week and midterm check-in. This video is about building classroom climate and rapport with positive communication. On our agenda today, we're going to talk about how positive communication can be used in the first day, the first week, throughout the semester, and in a midterm check-in to help build climate and rapport with your students. So on the first day, as most of you know, this sets the tone for the course and the perception of you as their professor. So it's important to be prepared to establish positive climate and rapport. Research tells us that you can do this several ways. For example, on the first day, simply asking students their names, asking their major or their goals, or even the reasons for being here, even if the class is required, is all a great way to get a better understanding of who your students are. Another way that you can build climate and rapport with your students is through appropriate self-disclosure about you. This self-disclosure should be information that you feel comfortable sharing and that adds a little bit more of that human-centric focus to the class. Another way is to discuss procedures for communicating with you in and out of the class. During that first day, students are receiving lots of information from all their professors. And one thing that is really helpful is for the professors to tell students, here's how we can talk during class, either at the start or out of class. So giving them your email, inviting them to office hours, giving them Zoom office hours, showing them where your office is. All of these are different ways that you can communicate to your students the best practices for how to talk to you in and out of class. Another thing that you want to cover on that first day is well-being and the resources that are provided around campus and by the college. You can show them in the Canvas shells, in your syllabi, and wherever else that you might have those resources listed. Now, chances are you're probably meeting with your students more than once and if in a week. And if you are, you'll want to make sure during that first week that you are showing students that you're learning their names, that you're making connections with the content and those goals and reasons for being there that they showed you. And you want to continue to use appropriate self-disclosure, connecting the content to your own experiences. Since many of you are trained in the field that you're teaching, you are able to rely on your own personal experiences, either in previous grad classes or undergrad classes about the content, or even in the field, how the content has helped you with what you do. By giving students these realistic connections with your own experiences and disclosing to them how the content that they're learning is going to be useful or beneficial or help them in their own scenarios with the content in the field, this helps them see you again as a human, right? You're not just this all-knowing source of information, but you also at one point were learning this information too and using this information in various ways in the field. During the semester, this is another time that you want to make sure that you're continuing to check in and build that rapport and build that climate with students. Asking them how things are going, either at the beginning or the end of the week, beginning or end of class, again, is a great way to show that you care. This is informed by research best practices. One way that you can do this is using entrance or exit slips. These can be on Canvas or on a piece of paper. Simply asking students to respond to questions like, how are you doing in this class? What questions do you have about the content? What's confusing? How can I help? And by making it anonymous, allow students to ask questions and save face by getting those answers addressed. Again, this is a great way for you to check in to make sure that everybody is not only understanding the content, but that everyone is on the same page. You might have students that say, this is a really hard week for us. We all have a big exam and we're all struggling to get the project in your class finished. And that's a great way for you then as the professor to say, okay, I noticed that some of you all need more time. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we can get more time. It's also another great way for you to remind students about the resources that the college offers and that the university offers for students on well-being to help them navigate this point in the semester. Another great time to check in with students is during the midterm. This is a great time to ask, again, how they're doing and where they could use support or clarification. Some of the best practices are using an anonymous survey in Canvas and asking students what the strengths are of the class. What are some places that could be improved? Where do students need more help or maybe clarification? You're also, again, reminding students of those support services, showing them where the information is located on Canvas, on our website, and that way they can get their needs met. Now, does this conversation stop after the first day and first week? No. This again should happen throughout the semester where you are taking 2 minutes to say, hey, how's everyone doing? Or having them fill out the exit slip right before they leave class. And that way you can review. Asking students by checking in and hey, where is everybody at? What do we need to look at in regards to moving things around? Or how can I help you manage this? And showing them again what you've learned as the expert in the room with the content. I hope you find this helpful. And by employing these positive communication practices, this will help show students that you do care and will help them direct them to the services they need if they do. Thank you.